Hi, Hogs. This is our defensive install for day three. Day three, we are installing all of our W stunts and blitzes. And what's really nice about this, it should be easy to conceptualize. Day two, we installed all of our S stunts and blitzes, which is our strong side stunts and blitzes. So our strength is going away. Our strong side positions are going away from the strength. We're going to install all of our W, which is the mirror. So all of our weak side positions are now stunting away from the weak side and towards the strong side. Okay. And the names are very similar to their S side counterparts. So sail, our wave is the equivalent of sail. Okay, so this is what wave looks like. That's what sail looks like. As you can see, they're very similar. Okay. So for wave, it is now the Viper that is slanting into the B gap. And remember, when we're slanting and stunting, we are only responsible for one gap across the board. So as you can see here, the Viper is slanting into the B gap. He's only responsible for the B gap. The nose is slanting into the strong side A gap this time now, away from the weak side. And the tank is now getting in that 5 technique, and he is responsible for the C gap. He is the fence post, and we are trying to slant away from the weak side and trying to collapse everything down on the weak side and bring it to our fence post, who is the tank, who is not getting moved, and he's staying right there in that C gap, waiting for everything to crash down like an accordion. Okay. So wave, Viper slanting away from the weak side, nose is slanting away from the weak side. Okay. So whenever you hear wave, the Sam linebacker will call left, left, left. So that means the tank goes to the left, the Viper goes to the right, and we are slanting. So that means the right side is the weak side because he says left, left, left. So we are slanting away from the weak side, which is the right side, and we're slanting towards the strength. Okay. So the next one is wham. Okay, now wham is the same as wave, but now we are bringing the backer, the will backer as well. So for wham, he's going A gap, nose is going away from the strength, Viper is going, or sorry, going away from the weak side, Viper is going away from the weak side, and we're all slanting towards the strength. Okay, just like wave, just the will is included, the will linebacker. Now, with wham twist, just like spam twist, now the nose and the will linebacker are now switching responsibilities. Okay. So for twist, the nose is slanting towards the weak side, and the will linebacker is going away from the weak side. Okay. So the nose and the will switch responsibilities on wham twist. All right. Just like spam twist. And the tank is still out in the C gap, all responsible for one gap. Now, wheel is the same as steel. Okay, you see how this is starting to work out here? There's two E's in wheel, so that means the Viper is going to long stick and go 2 gaps. The will linebacker is going to go first into the B gap, and the Viper will go right off his butt, scrape off his butt, and go into the A gap. Okay. And I know there's some confusion of who went first. The will linebacker goes first, and we go after the will linebacker. Okay. Really important we get down into that A gap. Nose is doing the same thing, slanting away from the weak side. The tank is in his C gap 5 technique. Okay. So that's it. So we have wave. We have wave slanting away from the weak side. We have wham slanting away from the weak side. We have wham twist, where the nose and the will are switching responsibilities. And then the last one is wheel, where the Viper and the will are switching responsibilities, where the will is going to go B and the Viper is going to go A. All right, 2 E's, 2 gaps. So we'll go and watch some film here. If I can get this open, there we go. Okay, so we're going to watch some film against St. Thomas here from last year. So we're running wave. The strength was to the left. So that means our nose should be slanting there. End should be slanting there. Our tank is in a 5 technique out here. And we're trying to collapse everything down on the inside, okay? So watch the 5 technique here. He's nice and tight. He looks almost head up, and I would actually prefer that than you being too wide. So I prefer this right here where he's still nice and tight as long as he can command his outside gap. Okay, which he does. As you see, he's attacking that outside shoulder. He's got his inside leg up. He's got his hands inside, and he's being that fence post. That's exactly what it should look like for that 5 technique right there. Okay. Now, our nose should be slanting into his gap. He steps over. He's getting double teamed, so he just needs to do the best he can to drop down and not get pushed back. And he should be standing in his gap strong, just like he's doing right there. He's doing exactly what he should be doing. Okay, sitting down in there strong. Our linebacker is able to flow over the top, and he's still sitting in his gap strong, being able to play it if the running back went to his gap. Okay. Now we're going to our Viper here. Okay, Viper steps to his gap. The guard comes out to him to block him. He's going to engage that block. He should be staying out in his gap out here until the ball is committed. Okay. Go to the next one here. Okay, same thing. Strong left, slanting towards the strong side, away from the weak side. And we have our 5 technique right here out of the tank. So we'll watch the tank first. Okay, the tank is reading his key. His key looks like he's kind of stepping outside. So he goes outside, gets his hand there, and then he needs to sit in his C gap right here. Okay, we'll go to the nose slanting into his gap. Okay, he sees his key, who's this guard, going away. So he needs to be getting into his gap right now. And because he does that, he takes on 2 guys, 2 for 1 right there. Because he did a good job fighting into his gap. So this is what we did with our technique today, where he's got his feet stacked, he's ripping, and he's trying to work his hips around into his gap, which is very nice. Okay, causes a pile up right there. And that's what we want to do when we slant, is cause a pile up inside. Here, we're getting too engaged with the tackle here. We should be reading our key here, slanting into our gap. He does eventually get into his gap, which is good, but he did not do a good job ripping off the block, and he's getting pushed back, which allowed them to gain a ton of yards here. Okay. Watch one more quick one, and then I gotta go put my daughter down for bed. Okay, so let's see here. One sec, guys. All right. Yep. So the tank is here. So that means we're slanting away from the weak side. So the tank, he sees that his key steps out, so he needs to fight outside. He should be fighting out here and getting into his gap. Okay, we'll watch the nose. Nose should be slanting away. His key eyes should be on his key, which is this guy, making sure that he's getting into his gap. You see his guy goes away. So he's trying to fight into his gap because he's getting reached by the center. Okay, watching the 4 technique here. The Viper, he slants in. He see plays come right. The play comes right to him. He's sitting down in his gap, and he's ready to make the tackle in case it comes there. So he steps, okay, and he gets square in his gap just like this, just in case that running back wants to run the ball right there. But the running back obviously can't, because our 4 technique is sitting in his gap nicely like he's supposed to. So now he's got to run the ball somewhere else, which is what we want him to do. Okay. That's the whole point of doing this, is slanting, is to give them a different look and have them run the ball where they don't want to run it. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. It's just like our S blitzes from last time, or from yesterday, but it's doing it with the weak side. I hope that makes sense. Gonna go put my daughter down now.